All right, love. So, today is day 3 of our 100-day coding challenge. We're going to be spending about an hour as we normally do. Now, so everyone can kind of, since we're going to, the way that our lessons are going right now is that you are currently working on, you just finished the revamping your tribute page, and now you are working on your portfolio, which you'll show me when you're done, and I'll go back and check it and do the same thing with the tribute page. And I'm going over the JavaScript. So you want to tell everybody what you did today for the, how long did you study today? Don't lie. Don't lie because you're on camera. Don't lie to the people. All right. No. How long did you study?
Probably 2.5 hours.
All right. So you spent about 2.5 hours, and what'd you do?
Well, I refixed my CSS for my HTML tribute page. So basically on that I just fixed the margins for the title and subtitle. And then for my portfolio page, it ended up being a lot more like disappointing than anything else, because I was looking through, I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna, start, putting up the like structure of it, and then I realized I had no idea what I wanted to do. And yeah, sure, I could copy the example, but I really want to be able to have things like thrown at me and be able to just be like, oh yeah, I know how to do that. So I kind of was like, okay, I'm just gonna, so I scrolled through a bunch of other people's portfolio web pages to kind of get ideas. And I think I maybe have looked through too many because they started kind of to blend together. So I just started kind of taking attributes from each one of them that kind of like stood out to me that I liked. And you can see in the background if you move, I kind of have it like sketched out. So right now I just have the menu sketched out, and I have like an ideal color scheme that I want. I have this eerie feeling that I'm going to change my mind halfway through creating it. No. So I'm going to try and resist that as much as I can. Whether this one says no or not, I don't know who he thinks he is, but whatever. So yeah, so I finally have like an idea set out that I want to do, but so that's what I'm like kind of working towards right now.
And did you go over the sections of the JavaScript as well?
What are you talking about?
That we did yesterday?
Yeah. So yeah, I went back and I did all the JavaScript that we went through yesterday and took notes and everything like that. And I have the notes to prove it. If you want to make sure they're tutor. So
excellent.
I made like little notes because one of you guys said in chat was like, oh, it's like a box that you can put stuff in now or later, and I thought, oh, that's perfect. So I drew a box and said, I store shit whenever.
All right. Now that we're all caught up, we're gonna dive back into our lesson for the day, which is the free Codecamp JavaScript section, the basic JavaScript that is part of. Now, there's a couple different ways. A lot of times, remember how we were dealing with lists, or I was showing you lists, arrays, yes. Yeah. Arrays. You have to keep track of an array. They have these things called indexes. It's basically just the location in the array. So the first location is actually index 0. They start at 0. It goes 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. Okay?
So they're only numbers?
No. It can store anything, but like you would pass a number. Say I had an array like this. Var array ex is equal to an array, and in here we had hello. In here we had 1, 4, 5. So if I wanted this would be index 0, this would be index 1, this would be index 2, and this would be index 3. And so if I wanted to get hello, I could do it like this. Array EX, and then our array item, and then index 0, and this would return the value of, or this is how we would get the value of hello. It starts at index 0. And the reason I bring that up is because we're talking about incrementing here. So a lot of times you'll keep track of variables that will increment, because sometimes you'll want to run things again and again until you get the answer you're looking for. That's called a loop. So
why wouldn't you just want to get the answer the first time?
Because you may have to do it again and again. Like, take washing dishes, for instance. If the task is to wash a single dish, but you want all the dishes to complete, you're going to wash a dish. Are there more dishes? Wash another dish. Is there another dish? Wash another dish. So, like, you get the same concept in programming. So, in here, we're going to talk about incrementing. So, we have this number 87, and one way for that loop that we would keep track is we would increment upwards by 1. So, we do plus 1. Now, you'll see that another way, instead of doing this, we can actually just go ahead and throw a plus plus on the end on here. And this will take the value that's in here, 87, and add plus 1 to it. It's just a shorthand way of doing that. So that will equal 88. That's all. You can also do the same thing with decrement. So if we didn't want to decrement our code this way with the -1, we could do my var minus, and it would -1 from it. And there's various reasons why you would do that as well. So, this isn't going to make too much sense, but floating number, the difference between whole numbers is whole numbers are like a number like 5. There's no decimal places there. Then you have floating point numbers, which are like 5.7, where it has decimal places. This doesn't really matter too much in JavaScript because they're all considered numbers, but in other programming languages, they're actually different types. They're numbers. Even though JavaScript just has number, other programming languages have many types. So it's just one thing to keep track of, that when we create this variable myDecimal, is that you can create decimal numbers as well. So 6.66. What?
666. Illuminati.
You can also multiply these numbers as well, as you might imagine, so that any sort of operators like that you can use. So here we will have, if we wanted this 2, we would just multiply it by 2.5 to equal 5. So you can multiply floating point numbers. And the reason you'd be doing math is you want to get equations, and just like with a calculator. You can do the same thing with division with floating numbers as well. It's not just whole numbers.
Okay, so they're going through you can do all this stuff to floating numbers.
Yes, that's basically what's going on right now. So if we wanted to get 2.2, we'd have 4.4 divided by 2. Oops. Wait. Quotient variable is only assigned once. I think this is a beta error. So what we'll do, just so that we can keep track of some hard fresh. So we're still working in the beta, and thus there are issues with it still. There we go. So now we're getting to a new mathematical operator called modulo. Or in this case, it's just a modulus, excuse me, is what the technical term for it is. But it's really the remainder mathematical operation. So what I mean by that is, say we take a number 5 and we divide it by 2. You would divide it, imagine you're subtracting it until you couldn't subtract anymore. So 5 minus 2 is 3.
Oh, so like getting a remainder.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
So the way we do that is with the is with the percent sign. So we'll say remainder, and so if we wanted to have a remainder of 2, what would we do? Give me a number, an example.
6.
6 what? 6 modulo what to have a remainder of 2?
I don't know. 3. 2.
No, think about it. So you have 6. If you want to divide it by a number that would return 2, what would it be?
I don't know how to do it on paper. Let's see. So if I want a remainder, I know you subtract 4 to get 2.
So if we were to divide by 4, would we not have a remainder of 2?
Yeah, we would.
Yeah, so there you go. Good. Alright, so remember how we did the plus plus and it automatically added 1 to our variable? Now, another way, say we want to add 3 to our variable or 4 to our variable. We can do this, and instead of having to add a or b in this case, we can just do plus equals. So we can take this out, and this will now be equivalent to a is equal to a plus 12. And then we can do the same for b, where b is equal to b plus 9. And then we can do the same for c, where c is equal to...
Why would you do that?
Shorthand. It's better code. If you know you're going to increment by 12, it's just shorthand, that's all. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing as writing a is equal to a plus 12. It's just a better way. There's less code to write. You'll find that. So the reason for this is that JavaScript's official name is ECMAScript, and there's a company that writes JavaScript. And so yeah, that's
what I thought.
This guy? But it's not dividing. You're talking about a remainder. So the reason that
that's why I was like, I don't know, is it 4?
Yeah. So the reason and Dizzle that there's a remainder of 2 is that even though 6 divided by 4 is 1.5, that 0.5 is actually 2. So it's you divide until you can't divide by a whole number anymore, and then that remainder is what you have. So 13 divided by 12 would have a remainder of 1. 13 divided by 10 would have a remainder of 3. 13 divided by 3 would have a remainder of 1. So it's not that you're doing division, not to be confused with division. It's finding a remainder. That's what modulus does. It's the remainder. It's not division. Because you don't care how many times it gets divided. You only care about the remainder.
Interesting.
But yeah, so that's for this. It's another way to increment. If you don't want to just auto increment by 1, you would do this. This would auto increment by 12.
By 12 for every A.
And keep the value of A. So if A was equal to 12 and we're adding 12, it would now be 24.
Okay.
And the reason for this is, one, shorthand. There's a lot of stuff that gets developed in the new programming language, or the new version of it. Like ES6 is the most current version.
Yeah. I saw that.
It's because they add new features, and a lot of times they make things shorter or better or anything else. Just look at it like subtraction to a degree, right? You still have to divide to get to that point when it comes to a remainder. Like, that makes sense, right? You're dividing until you can't, and then you're subtracting. You're seeing what the value is. So if you have 10 divided by 8, it goes in one time. We don't care about the 1. We only care that there's 2 left over. Now, if it's 24 divided by 10, 10 goes in once, 10 goes in twice. We don't care about that, but we care about the remainder of 4. Okay, let's go on.
It's kind of in between.
Yeah. So, basic JavaScript compound, same exact thing except with subtraction. So if we wanted to subtract
So subtract by 12, you just subtract equals.
Exactly. Yes, minus equals.
So it's just shorthanding it.
Exactly. And you could do this with 1. It's just not that's not really what it's there for. The other way of doing it, like this one, minus equals with 1.
You just do C negative.
Yeah. But if you wanted to subtract by 15 and you wanted to subtract the value by 6, it would do it as well. All right. So we can also do this with multiplication as well. So if we wanted to multiply A by 5.
Ooh, that's cool.
Is it fancier with multiplication?
I just always sucked at that, so to have a machine that could just kick it out for me sounds nice.
Yeah. So you can do that like this as well. And so A would multiply A by times 5, B times 3, and then C times 10, and set the value. Augmented division, same exact thing. So you divide by 4, B divided by 4, C divided by 11. Make sense?
Is that hurting? Like real bad?
It's something. That's for sure. Declare string variables. So, this is a string. Technically, it's called a string literal. It's just a string, though. That's all it is.
Why is it a string literal? There has to be a difference.
No, it's the same thing. I don't know why it's called. I don't know why the literal part is after it, but it's a string.
It's literally a string.
It's literally a string, right? All right, so
like legit.
All right, so in here we're gonna create a variable called my first name. And you'll notice we're doing camel case, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll do Dylan. And var my last name. So this is equal to Israel. And you'll notice that I could do it in single or double quotes as well.
Yeah, I noticed that. It was a little...
They're cheering you on in chat, baby.
I know. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Alright, so, I talked to you this in the past about how sometimes you'll want to use quotes within your quotes. and it's kind of a pain in the ass. So the these are typing escaping literal quotes is what that means, is what this means. And the way that it works is, let's see the example they want this. So if we wanted to quote this string right here, I'm just gonna copy this because my hand's fucked up. You'll see how we're getting this error, right? So what we have to do is we have to throw these forward slashes in here. I always get this messed up, yeah. Forward slashes in here. Now there's a new way of doing this in ES6, but we're not going to talk about that. So the first quote goes in front of the quote, or first slash.
So it's like a comment, but without
it's not
forward slashes.
Well, it's not. We're not commenting it out. What we're doing is in our string we're saying, hey,
this is a quote.
This is a quote, and it's correct. It's not a mistake.
Yeah, I get that. So it's like, whatever. Never mind.
And we're doing the same thing here with this one as well. But we're not doing it on the quote that encases it, because that's what makes it a string. Yeah. Good. I think this beta's messed up right now. So we'll clear the cache again.
What do you do when you do that?
So your computer stores this thing called cache. And what it basically is CACHE, not like cash money.
Yeah, right? Okay.
And so it's basically local memory on your computer for this browser. Things like cookies and similar like concepts. And session data and things like that. And so what happens here is FreeCodeCamp's beta sometimes bugs out, and it's because they think something's in the cache that's not really there. Like they think an incorrect version of this string is there. So what we do is we clear the cache, and then it will actually, because it still has this data saved somewhere else, that will now be accepted. Make sense? Okay. So it works the exact same way as with backslashes here, as you might imagine. So what they want us to do, change the provided string from double to single quotes and remove the extreme quotes. So another thing that you can do.
How do you save it?
Save what?
When you have to reload it. Am I going to have to do that?
No, because you're going on FreeCodeCamp, not the beta. I'm doing the beta because we're going to cover more stuff.
Okay.
So one thing that we can do so we can skip over those backslashes is if quotes are needed, we can go ahead and just change this to single quotes on the outside, and then we can remove these unnecessary backslashes. And it may not make sense now. You're like, well, why am I storing HTML in a variable? But say you want your web page to be dynamic, and you don't want something there until a user clicks on something. JavaScript would then load that link or load that image. And so that's an example of why you might store a link in a variable. And I think we're having the same issue right now. Let's try this one more time. There we go. Okay, so this is one of the more pain in the ass things. So as you see, we're kind of doing like workarounds, if you will, to make the string come out the way we want it to in JavaScript when it comes to quotes and things like that.
Okay, so
I mean, you see, like, to get the string to be correct with the quotes the way that we want, we have to do additional steps. So this is much better in ES6, but this is important to know as well. But when you get to the ES6 section, you will never do what we're doing right now. So these are all the ways to do a single quote, a double quote, a single double quote, a backslash, a new line. So like you can, as of right now, if we had this massive sentence and we wanted it to be a haiku, and it could drop down a couple lines instead, as a haiku should be read. What are you laughing about?
We're so intense.
Yeah.
This massive sentence. It's like, whoa, dude. What kind of massive sentence? And you drop straight into a haiku. This is funny.
All right, so let's go ahead and start this one. This one's gonna be a pain in the ass. All right, so our string should contain. My string should contain the string's first line. Should not contain any spaces. And
you don't need to do camel case here.
Well, no, this is just because this is a string. It's not a variable.
Oh, okay.
This is just an example. And in this case, we want it to drop down a line. So if we wanted it to drop down a line, when it gets outputted, we can do /n right there. And it's going to drop down a line. We also can tab. I don't even know what a carriage return is, so don't ask me that. Oh. So you'll see, we want it to be like this, right? This is what we want our output to look like in this one string. So we drop down line, and then second line followed by new line /n /c. We want our second line to be indented. So we're gonna do /t, and then it will be second line. Carriage return is like hitting enter. Thank you. I learned something new today.
So when it prints out, you're gonna see those words as
it formatted the way that we want: first line, second line, third line.
So let's say that it wasn't first line, and you put a sentence, and then you put /n, and that would be on the first line.
No, that would drop you down a line. So we had our sentence. Said hello world /n, and then it said goodbye world. So hello world would be first line, goodbye world would be second line. It goes in order.
Okay.
That's why we do the tab in front of second line, and we go from there. So second line, and we want to drop down a line. What do we do to drop down a line before we do third line?
Double.
No.
/t.
That's tab. We want to drop down a line. What do we do?
The carriage return.
Stop fucking around. It's /n. We already did it once. It's a new line. That's what the N stands for.
I thought you were trying to go for like a third line. I thought there was a third
We are,
line.
and we do it with the /n.
Oh.
And then we do third line. And we should have what we're looking for. But I think it's going to fuck up.
Keep trying. Keep trying.
And we have a syntax mistake, just like you had earlier, motherfucker.
Shh. You don't speak of those things.
Alright, so when you remember how we were showing how to add strings together?
Yeah.
That's actually called concatenating strings, or concatenating a string. That's what.
Concatenating.
It's called concatenation. That's what the.
What I wonder what the first part of that means. Concat. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Concave.
But it doesn't add spaces between the strings or anything like that. So if you want a space, you have to format the two parts to be like that.
Mm.
Okay. Now the correct way.
Why would you use this?
Perhaps I wanted, say, a user logged in, and I wanted to say hello, comma, Dylan. You don't know who it's going to be until the user logs in. And JavaScript will be able to dynamically pull that information and display it. And you would concat the string to do it like that.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. You all right?
Yeah.
What's the matter?
Tired.
Why don't you go build yourself an espresso real quick?
That's okay.
I could go for water. And we can take a quick 2 minutes while you make an espresso.
It's okay.
We're only halfway.
It's fine.
Okay. All right. So, we do this with the plus sign. In this case, we're going to say. Very tired now, Dan.
Sorry.
All right. So here. God, my finger hurts. So here, we are gonna just concat a string. So we're saying this is the start.
Now you just copy and paste.
It's all right. This is what I do at work all day now.
Say it with more reason.
God damn it! I have something wrong. So this is the first sentence. Period. Or this is the second sentence. Maybe I have a syntax mistake. Let's see. All right, we'll try running it one more time. No. This is the first sentence. Oh, it's because I don't have space. Remember how I said we need to add spaces? Now we run it. Cool.
What? Why does one have a space and another doesn't?
Well, think of how this is going to come out. We want it to come out where this is a first sentence, period.
Oh, so there would be no space there.
There'd be no space.
Okay.
It wouldn't look grammatically correct.
Right. Well, if it was old English, it would.
Okay, so
How come this one doesn't load what this one is?
it does. It just goes from the top down.
Oh.
All right, so we'll set my name. We're gonna set a variable here. And we're gonna set it equal to Dylan. And what we want my string to be is we're going to so say we have a variable that's a string or a number for that matter,
Okay.
and we want it to put it into a string. We can do that as well, and you do it by adding plus on both sides of it, and it will concatenate it into that string.
Okay, so if you wanted to
So what would
instead
this
of say it's like hello, Dylan, when you log in, it'd be like, is this your name, Dylan?
I don't know what the hell you're talking about right now. All right. So what would our string say in this case? We have a variable called our name, free Codecoure, and then we're putting it into our string or our str. What would that variable say? What would it be?
Hello, our name is Free Code Camp. How are you?
Exactly. And so to get it to do that, we're basically saying, hey, insert this art name in between here and in between here with the plus sign.
So technically you can make the variable our name equal to undefined until someone puts their name in there, and then when you print
when you log in,
yeah.
all right, so let's use the login example. So when you log into Facebook, it has your name, right?
I don't know, does it? It's been forever since I logged into Facebook.
Okay, so it does. All right, take my word for it. It has your name somewhere on there that says April Clemens. We'll do me. Dylan Israel. It says Dylan Israel. And so when I log in, what happens is some data comes back from the server that has all that data about you. Your name, your age, all that stuff.
That thing probably knows more about me than I know about me.
Yeah. So it gets all that data, and what happens is that goes to the JavaScript side to here. And one of the variables is your name. And in that spot on that HTML, there's a space where it has something that stores this sentence.
And it waits for you to put your input so that it can concat.
And it inserts it into the HTML dynamically. It's not actually there. It will once it has it then injects it into the DOM. So document.
It's like magic.
It's not like magic, baby.
It's not really there, but it's there. It's an illusion.
All right. Come on, baby, stay focused. But you see.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, do you see? Yeah, it's $75 an hour. I think I'm upping my rates for tutoring going forward. You can thank April for that. Oh man, my hand is killing me. Can you go get me more time?
Oh, that's why you're on edge, because you're in pain.
Am I on edge?
Yeah, you're being stickler with me.
Am I? I am being a little serious with you.
You are. You're not even laughing with me.
Oh.
It's supposed to be fun, not fucking miserable. If I'm gonna be miserable, I can be miserable all on my own.
You hear the shit I have to put up with? My finger is like exploding, baby.
You need water?
Yeah, would you? I should drink water. Alright. Here's a little fun fact, guys. You see how this water bottle is already open? I do not have the wrist strength without tearing out my stitches to open my own bottle of water.
Taking care of a tall, annoying child.
Tall, annoying, well-hung child. Alright, anyhow, baby. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we're going to concat our string. We're going to say, hello. My name is, and say we want to just inject it at the end here, and we'll go ahead and put, what are we going to put Dylan? How are we going to add Dylan to the end of that string?
Kitty Trio. Oh, you're going to put my name and then plus.
Yes. And you see how we don't have another plus? It's because there's not a string that comes behind it.
No, I thought this does.
Well, yeah, in this case, but in our case right here, there's not another plus that comes after.
Why?
Because we don't have anything that comes after it.
Oh.
Like if we want to say hello, my name is then my name. Do we need
to put like a period there?
Okay, yeah, like so, because we don't have a period on Dylan.
Right.
If we wanted to do that, and if we wanted to have a period, we'd have to concat like so. Is that vape, smoke, incense, or a dryer outlet? Dryer
outlet. Wow, that's a new one.
Yeah, it's a essential oil diffuser.
Why would a dryer outlet do that?
See?
Dryer outlet. Oh, dryer outlet. Okay.
Alright.
I'm like, a dryer outlet. Yeah, we have a dryer right here at the desk.
Alright, so you can do the same thing with plus equals.
Vape Lord preaching.
So
he's so good at vaping, he doesn't need to vape. Vape Lord. Hashtag Vape Lord. Sorry. Get distracted.
Alright, so what do we... Learning code is fun, period. So, so some adjectives should be set to a string of at least 3 characters strong. Append some adjectives to my string using plus equals operators. What? Oh. Oops. Sorry. I misunderstood what they were asking. It's like, we can't do that. It's like, maybe I learned something new. Alright, so it's the same thing that we learned before. Remember how we were concatenating strings with plus equals? We're doing it.
So you can shorthand this too?
Yeah, but we're just doing it with another variable.
Why does it do that?
Probably hit something accidentally. I'm a little clumsy with one hand. God damn it. Cool. So sometimes you need to find out how long a string are. There's these things called built-in functions. Functions are pieces of code that you've defined that you can reuse. So if I ever wanted that login thing, that's just a function that gets called, and your code in there to return the name is an example of one. So they don't want to have to rewrite that every time you log in. They don't want to have to have it in a million different places. They can just call one line of code in a function and do that.
That's cool. So
depending on what you're working with, what data types, they have functions already defined in JavaScript for you. And so one of them for...
So they have like pre-layouts?
Pre-built functions would probably be the best way of going about it. Is that your question?
Well, like, so if they already have... But don't you have to write them anyways, or what?
Well, yeah, you get like the basics, right? Like this one will go and get you the length of this string, for instance. So that if you need to know how many letters is in my first name, or how many letters is in Lovelace right here, there's this dot length that you can attach to the end of that
I've seen that before.
Variable. And so then what would happen is we could then find out how many characters is in that string. That's a pre-built function that's part of JavaScript that's specific to strings.
I think I've like seen one of your videos on that or something because it sounds really familiar.
All right, so in this case, if we were to, we have Lovelace here. Last name length is 0, and we want to set the length of this to whatever, or set the value of this to whatever the length of that is. To do that, we would just call dot length on top of this, and now we're not actually setting it to Lovelace. What we're setting it to is how many characters there are, which is 8. Does that make sense? What did I just say?
It's not equal to the name anymore. It's equal to how many characters there are.
How many characters are there?
8.
What is this?
What is what?
What is this?
It's a predetermined function for JavaScript
that
will count how many characters.
Good. Hey, thanks, Bitcode.
Hey, $5, yeah.
Motivation Thursdays.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. I feel you, man. You gotta stay motivated to do this. Am I forcing April to do this? No, I'm not forcing April to do this shit, man. You think I want to do this? I'm tired, man. I got a busted fucking hand over here. Look at this. Look at this. This shit's fucked up, man. I'm doing this to help her out. She wants to learn to code, and we're devoting an hour. She's spending about...
I want to learn to code. Dylan's severely impatient, so he's making sure that I'm learning code.
I am... Hey, look, this is the thing, guys. I'm going to spend 100 hours with her for 100 days. An hour a day. She's spending about 2.5 hours.
This is the most time I've ever spent with him, ever.
So this is the thing. I tell you guys again and again that the hardest part is coding daily when you're not used to it. She's coding for about 2.5 hours.
It's exhausting mentally. When he came home and he called me on his way home and he was talking to me, I was like sitting here trying to like...
I'll stop here for today.
I was like sitting there trying to like focus because I'm trying to recall so much that I've just taken in the last few days to make this, new, what is it called? Portfolio page. And I'm really trying to step out of my comfort zone. So I couldn't decide if I wanted to work through a table for my main menu or if I wanted to work through divs for my main menu. So I was kind of like toddling with both back and forth, like, okay, what does this make sense? I fucking hate tables. But anyways, it's mentally just like, oh, and then going through this JavaScript, it's just a little intimidating. So he probably is pushing and like pulling me, right now, just because like learning's hard, and to have someone to be able to do that for you is great. I mean, it's not that I wouldn't be doing it on my own. It's just I'd probably be a little bit more slow at it, so maybe that's why.
So to comment on real quick, so one of the reasons I'm doing these sort of mentoring, tutoring sessions is to kind of give context for some of this as well as insight. And although I do agree with Kevin and Loud and Out that she should be driving this, she does all this on her own as well.
Not to mention, guys, like, I agree, because that's how Dylan learned too, but I learned from lectures. Like, it's just a preference learning. I will go to class, sit at a lecture, take my notes, redo it in my own time. Then if I have questions later, I go back to my professor in their office hours. I sit down, ask those questions. They give me back either an answer or a way of thinking about it, or places that I can go and check out to learn my questions. Like, that's how I learn. I spent 5 years learning like that. I'm just not going to turn it off and, oh, hey, let's just jump toes in, or what is that where you bomb into the pool? Like, I'm not that person. I'm not going to do that.
But anyhow, so everything that we do on here, she's redoing herself. So I it's kind of like she's doing it twice, and that's why I'm kind of okay with it. Is we're going over a lot for someone who's never touched JavaScript a day in their life. So if it gets her to do it twice, I'm kind of cool with that.
And really, the more I can go over it, the better. But if you send me in by myself, I'm going to freeze up. I'm going to not enjoy it. I'm going to...
All right, so let's talk about what you're going to be working on tomorrow.
I hate that.
What do I think about New Boston? The New Boston? I think it's amazing. Although I've never gone on his website, I have only used his YouTube channel.
What's the New Boston?
The New Boston is probably the largest coding YouTube channel around. He has several. What's he at right now? The New Boston's probably at. I know he's. I thought he was at over 1 million a while back, but it's been a while. So the New Boston has 1.5 million subscribers. He's like the go-to. There's about 2 big coding channels. The New Boston, which has 1.5 million, and then Derek Bonus, which is hovering around 500,000. There's a great up and coming one called Traversing Media, who's at like 55,000. He's growing very rapidly, but that's who the New Boston is. These are all people you'll watch once you dive in, who you're like, hey, I don't know shit. Who knows shit and can teach me shit? And they're like, oh, these are the guys you'll discover. And like that's how people discover me, right? They're like, I don't have any fucking idea how to do free code camp stuff. I'm fucking up. I need help. I need a way to see projects. I have no idea where to get started, and then people discover me. So these are guys that are YouTubers.
Oh, okay.
That do coding stuff. The New Boston's probably, to my knowledge, is the largest one.
Really?
Yes. With 4,300 videos.
What is he, like 12?
12?
Yeah, I just imagine he's 12 years old. He's just like...
He's a grown-ass man with 43.
It's like my cousin Kent, who's like graduated college when he was 16.
It's not, the New Boston's not 12-year-olds. He's like a CEO of some company. I don't even think he's active anymore. But anyhow, that's who the New Boston is. Okay, so tomorrow you're going to... Tomorrow you are going to be continuing work on your portfolio project. And you see, by the way, she has a whiteboard back there to deepen Udayar. I have a video in my Ask a Dev series talking about how to get better at solving algorithms. I suggest you watch it, but it gives a couple examples in there. Goes into it. Tutorials. So her creating tutorials.
So this is a thing. We're gonna just mush these together. This is my terminology for that concat shit. I'm like, what?
I mean, it's an interesting topic. I don't know that. So I'll tell you why I don't think it's a good idea. Not because I don't think she would enjoy doing it. I think she would.
I think I would fuck a lot of people up, and I don't want to do that.
Well, not even that. The only negative comments I've really ever gotten on my videos, and I have over 500 up now, are the videos where I did a tutorial that I wasn't really qualified to do. And people have yelled at me in comments and stuff like that where I came here to fucking learn from somebody who knows this shit, and I got this idiot. Like, so how much would you use a free code camp algorithm skill in like a setting where you're doing stuff for a monster company like Google? Well, although you're not, depending on the role, it depends on the role. You're not solving algorithms and things like that. You need to be comfortable with logic. That's really what the algorithms are preparing you for. When you need to write something that is going to filter through an array, parse into a JSON object, push that data to a database, and only pull out what you need to be able to filter through these things. And you never know how it's going to be and what you're going to do with it. So oftentimes you probably very rarely will ever be recreating the actual algorithm in there, but the skills that you get in terms of solving them will be what's the word I'm looking for? Will be invaluable. Which is kind of what you get out of free code camp.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. That's like a really big issue with professors who are teaching like subjects that they've been teaching for like 20 some odd years. And you always know that you have a good teacher when they recognize, I'm going to teach you things that you're no longer going to, I can no longer understand where you're coming from, because for me this is just all basic knowledge. So I have a lot of professors who will save their like beginning notes and stuff for like beginners, and they kind of use that and keep that and incorporate it so that it becomes more seamless. But I can understand how a lot of people that aren't like privy to being like, understanding that knowledge will just completely like, dismay that and then continue on, and then you're stuck there going, what? So, I mean, I thought about that, but more than anything, I think that's why it's really great for him to be tutoring me and me not doing my own. That way we have someone who knows all the knowledge of that stuff, while I get to ask all the newbie questions like, what? You know? So I think doing these tutoring sessions is what we're really doing them for live, to kind of tackle those issues for beginners, but being able to make sure you guys get the correct information.
Yeah. I was a computer science major before I dropped out. I'm not a major of anything now.
And I'm an English graduate. And I didn't drop out.
So
I tease them.
Also the only employed one in this house.
Oh, God.
Anyhow, we should daily vlog. That'd be fun. Well, you're about to get 97 more daily vlogs of this. So, and the reason for that, I don't think I finished up my thought process, was that the number one way to learn to code and to become a better developer is doing it daily. And so by me holding her accountable on a daily basis, because even if she's bullshitting me about those 2 to 2.5 hours, which I don't think she is.
I could be bullshitting, be like, I did 3 hours. You know, I watched the time with her.
Which is why she's working on other projects and designing and whatnot. But
and just so you guys know, I wouldn't be afraid to be like, I didn't get to it at all today. Now that would make me feel stupid in front of y'all, but I would not be afraid to say it.
But at the very least, we'll spend about an hour focusing on topics that we can keep her motivated. So that's why I am doing these vlogs. Why did I drop out? Was it difficult or personal circumstances? To be honest, I was sick of being broke.
He also doesn't like the structure of the educational system, whereas I love it.
Yeah, it's not a structure where I thrive, and I wasn't really learning.
He didn't do good with lectures, note taking, all that stuff. He really does well with jumping in and what I don't do well with.
How do I feel about Stephen Mayu? He's got some solid content, I think. I've learned a bit from watching him too, but it's annoying that he can only screen cap 15 minutes. Why can he only screen cap 15 minutes? Is that a thing? Like, he doesn't have enough subscribers or something?
What does that mean, screen cap for 15 minutes? Like,
so when I'm recording the screen,
yeah,
that's capturing the screen. That's what he's referring to. Like recording my monitor.
So why can't you do it more than 15 minutes? You did not have the RAM?
No. So I think it's because YouTube, if you're below a certain number of subs, won't let you
jumping in or into the experience of whatever he's trying to work on. So like, because he was going to class for computer science, he was learning all this stuff in class, but he wanted to get in, start having money, and jump in with both feet and start working on actual things. And he does well with that, like in the moment learning.
Yeah, and I've thought quite a bit about going back. So at that time, my father was paying for my schooling. Now that I have a full-time income, what's up with the Lambda? It's some coding posters in the background. That's what you see here. But how do I feel about Ruby on Rails? Is it still worth learning? I would say you're probably better off learning the mean stack.
Mean stack, because we're mean.
Yeah. All right, baby. Anyhow, so I'm a big fan of Stephen Mayu. For those of you who don't know, I've actually been tutored by him in the past a couple times. He is one of my go-tos. His rates are very affordable, and I've learned a lot from him in just a couple of tutoring sessions that I probably would have spent 5-6 hours on my own at all. And
what?
Ignore that.
I've seen people on YouTube who do that, and it feels just weird. I feel like violated. Like, why are you calling me that? It's just awkward.
All right, guys. But yeah. So anyhow, appreciate you guys watching. We will be back tomorrow, and for the 97 other days, unless No, there is no unless.
Yeah, I mean, he was gonna say unless she gets a job, like, in coding, but we should really still stick to it. We are committed to these 100 days, whether we're in pain, crying.
I will leave you with this. Diden Udayar says, yo, can you do a day in your job kind of video? And I'm gonna show you a little something. We're gonna let this.
Uh-oh, what are we doing?
A day in your job video. So it's funny that you asked this. We'll go ahead and play this in the background. So there might be such a video that has already been produced and coming out. Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about what I do on a daily basis as a developer.
I think they want to see you at your job. Like, they want to see you like, hey guys, I'm at work.
So there's a video, a 14-minute video, very in-depth, talking about what I do on the daily basis. Just so you guys don't think I'm bullshitting. That's coming soon, guys. Probably Monday I'll be back uploading videos on top of it. It's just right now it's hard to do some typing with my hand. I type at work. We'll see. Maybe I'll do a vlog live stream and stuff like that. Or I'll ask my work if they care if I show where I work. I'll do like check out my work video. We'll see. I gotta get the okays on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure that you actually are working.
Yeah.
Not just fucking all these.
Vlog from work like Chris Sean.
Chris Sean.
Chris Sean's not vlogging for work anymore. His work shut that shit down. I saw his live stream like 2 days ago. He said they told him to knock it off.
Yeah, that's unless you get you guys. There's like just a common courtesy, and not on top of that, there's like legal issues with that. So you have to get permission and okay if you're gonna film or anything like that. Coming from a university who did a lot of filming and stuff like that, that stuff's really sensitive.
Yeah. So I'll ask. I'll see what they say. Probably won't be until my hand's healed. I want to be at 100% before I start pushing things. Be like, yo, haven't we been cutting your useless ass slack? You've only been going at 50% with one hand. No, I'm just kidding. But I'll ask. We'll see what happens, man. But as always, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to join our Facebook group. We're actually, baby, I don't know if I've told you this.
Thanks for subscribing, too, and all the donations. I appreciate the support. We appreciate the support.
Yeah, I don't know if I told you this. Like, Matt may be killing me in the YouTube game, and he's still ahead of me in the Facebook game.
Those two, so competitive.
But we're gaining on him. We're at 1,237 members. And what is that?
I know. I actually saw the day when it turned 1,000. I was like 999, and then it hit 1,000. I was like, ah! I was screaming in the house.
And he is at, what is this group at? He's at 1560. We're gonna pass him up in like 2 weeks. We're not gonna win the YouTube game, but we're gonna win the Facebook group war, boys. Thank you for watching. Join our group. The link is in the description. I appreciate you all. Thank you for the support.
Thank you.
Bitcode, I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
See ya.